Good evening, everybody. I'm David Appelbaum, President of Council. I'm welcoming you here tonight, and would like to call this meeting to order. Can we do, everyone rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and the flags over here. The flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Whoever was the loudest wins. Congratulations. All right. I'd like to ask either the borough manager or Catherine to do roll call, please.
Ms. Howlett. Present. Ms. Siegel-Morris. Mr. Menzel. Yeah. Ms. Scherer. Present. Mr. Goldstein. Here. Mr. Feiner.
Present.
And Mr. Appelbaum.
Present. I believe we have a quorum with one person out tonight. Okay. So, let me get to my notes. Okay, so we're going to do community announcements first. I understand and want to thank Parks and Rec for coming here tonight for a check presentation. Would you like to come forward and do that, please, Vrila? Do you mind just telling us a little bit about it and
All right, so a little spiel for you guys that may not know. We are the Yardley Borough Recreation Board. I'm missing a few of our team. So a little background. The Rec Board is able to donate to the Legion through the funds raised from the annual Memorial Mile. The mile and the 5K races allow the Recreation Board to host the Easter egg hunt, Halloween parade, and other fun events. I say this every year, but last year was a record-breaking year. We had 439 signups for the mile and 520 for the 5K, for a total of 759 participants to come into our little town. We are now a part of the Bucks County 5K series, consisting of only 7 races. Last year, our board worked extremely hard and raised over $35,000. The goal will be to update the tot lot equipment. We're goaling ourselves to have this done, hopefully, fingers crossed, by the fall. We are more than halfway to our goal of 60K.
wow.
So this is why it's important, and we ask for anybody, family members or kids, to join us in our races. Our race this year will be on Monday, Memorial Day, on May 25th, and the 5K will be on May 31st, the following Sunday. So, with that being said, the Yardley Rec Board would like to present our local Yardley Legion, Post 317, with 2K as a thank you for your diligent efforts to support Yardley's men and women of the armed forces and our little community.
Okay. Okay. Well, thank you very much to the members of Parks and Rec. Congratulations, Ted, for receiving that, and great work in raising money in something so important to this community as replacing that equipment at the kids' tot lot. Excuse me. Now I'd like to ask the chief if you wanted to do your presentation. Or the mayor, I'm so sorry.
No worries. So I just wanted to take a moment to recognize Chief Golden. You may have noticed that this is the second meeting in a row where we've had an award ceremony for our police officers. And this is something new that Chief Golden has started to recognize things as they happen when we have, unfortunately, large criminal events or criminal activity in the borough that our PD responds to. We are letting the public know about them as they happen, and I think it's a really great way to recognize our police officers for their hard work, their excellent policing, and also to raise awareness of how well we do detective work, solve crimes, and keep this community safe. So thank you to Chief Golden for starting this tradition.
Quite a few tonight.
Chief, Mike's over here.
So as many of you may know, we had investigated 2 burglaries, 1 residential and 1 business. The last council meeting is where we recognized the officers for the residential one that had occurred. I am happy now to be here before you tonight for the one that occurred on January 4th. That was on the media with the station cleaners there on Main Street. We got 5 officers we're going to present with an award tonight and 1 civilian for his great help in assisting us to locate the suspect. So the first one is a unit citation award, and the unit citation award reads as follows. The above officer is hereby cited for performance in carrying out police action with 1 or more other officers during an unusual situation. The accomplished was outstanding and warranted special recognition by the Chief of Police. So the first one goes to Officer Scott Frank. Not here tonight. We'll hold that for him.
Not here? Okay.
Not here. The second officer, also back-to-back awards of this, Officer William Baudet. Secondly, we have Corporal Adam Clark. Thirdly, we have Officer Alex Byers. Also back-to-back awardee. Alex, how long have you been with us now? 7 months. Doing great work. Next up, we have Officer Daniel Baxter. All right. Now, these fine officers standing in front of you couldn't have done this job so well if it wasn't for one person in particular. One of our fine residents who not only helped us out with this investigation, but many others over the years. So tonight, I would like to recommend the Chief of Police, on behalf of all the officers of the Yardley Borough Police Department, take pleasure in commending with a Civilian Commendation Award, Mr. Brent Johnson. So it's with this community that the public help is so very important in instances like this. If it wasn't for Mr. Johnson's help, we'd still probably be investigating. So thank you, Mr. Johnson, for your help. Really, really appreciate it from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you. And to all the officers here, thank you for a job well done. I appreciate all your efforts. Thank you.
Do we have an official? Oh, there she is. Another Johnson. Wherever you look, there's a Johnson. Oh, okay. Let's give him another round of applause.
And was there one?
Just one. Two.
Over there, Chief.
As many as you want. He'll get it.
Thank you, Council. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Chief. We'll wait for them to exit, and then we can continue. Just a quick note to everybody, again, terrific work on, wishing, good feelings towards our police force and yourself and Brent to Johnson, one of them. I think it falls, I just wanted to mention that I'm a bit, even though it's not something you have to do, it's not a law, but I love, especially a small community like ours, doing what I call the good neighbor policy, and I just think that you've done a great job, well, he's gone, Rob's gone, so you did a great job in raising quite a fine young man, and it really brings home my idea that even though we don't have to, I think that a good neighbor policy of being there for people and to participate in your community is extremely important. So thank you, Borough Manager Johnson.
Mr. President, may I say something?
Sure.
I just want to thank you, Chief, and thanks to your department. And I think that criminal activity, you don't have to go very far outside of our area to see areas with much more criminal activity. And I think criminal activity thrives when there is complacency and anonymity. And we all know each other. Your department is super dedicated, and we're all here to help you do your job. And when we can, we do. And I appreciate you for raising a good son who really embodies that spirit. But this is not a good place for criminal activity. So thank you.
You're welcome.
That wasn't an invitation for criminals.
No.
And thank you, Council, for all your support, Madam Manager as well, along with Patty, everyone that helps us out, Madam Mayor. Just so you guys know, this was the second burglary that was investigated and resolved in less than 6 weeks' time. So the guys are doing a very great job.
Thank you.
And Chief Golden would not say, but this specific suspect burglarized several other neighboring municipalities, and we were the municipality who solved the crime. So that needs to be said.
That's great. Thank you again. There's still some unfinished business with community announcements. I didn't ask the table if you had any.
I do. Hi, everyone. So Gather Place has weekly programming for Black History Month. I put some flyers by the agenda there if anyone wanted to check it out, but including this Friday, February 6th at 2 p.m., there will be a Frederick Douglass lecture about his abolitionist work at Gather Place. And walk-ins are also welcome at Gather Place on Fridays and Saturdays. And then at Yardley Friends meeting, starting at the end of the month, Wednesday, February 25th at 7 p.m., Peace Center of Bucks County will be hosting community storytelling circles. And those will be happening at the last Wednesday of the month through May. And they are free, but you can sign up at thepeacecenter.org to let them know you're coming. Thank you.
Anyone else at the table with any announcements? No?
Yes, I just wanted to let everyone know that the mayor's office, wink, wink, launched a Yardley Borough calendar of events, and there are 14 events before our next council meeting, and you can find that calendar on my Facebook page, Mayor of Yardley, or on Instagram. I invite folks to check it out. It's a great active month in our town. We have lots going on. I know folks are a little stir crazy because of the snow, so get out of your house and support our museums and our businesses this month.
Thank you, Mayor. And I wanted to, just in addition to that, no, I'll leave that for my report. Is there anyone from the audience that has a community announcement? No? Then we'll move on. All right, this is consideration of the consent agenda dated February 3rd, and it's the approval of the minutes dated January 20th. Is that correct? Yes. Does anyone have any reason to remove that one consent agenda item? Was anyone? No one was absent, so. Correct? Everyone's good? Okay, then. Okay, so let's do, okay, so go ahead, and can I have a motion for that, please?
So moved.
Well, Martha wins. You want to second it?
I'll second it.
All right, so we have a motion from Martha, and we have a second from Councilwoman Scherer. Discussion. Yeah, I didn't think there'd be much discussion on that. Okay, any discussion from the audience? No? Okay. Can I have, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any noes or abstentions? No, then it passes 6-0. Okay, thank you very much. All right.
Did you ask for public comment already?
Yeah. Yes. Sorry, I'm still new at this. Okay, so the finance report, is that right? Or am I looking at the wrong one, Paula? No, that's the right one.
Yeah.
Consideration to accept the February 3rd, 2026 finance report. May I have a motion for that?
It passes.
Oh, consent. That's right. Thanks for reminding me. Sure, please.
I've noticed this has been on a few of them. Ken's Lawn Service for about $5,000.
He's our Public Works person, if you're wondering.
Okay, what'd you say?
He's Public Works.
Okay.
Is there a further question?
What, I don't know, I just didn't know what that was going.
That's why I just wanted to see if I could head it off, but yeah, he's, takes care of, could you give,
So he takes care of our parks, he takes care of our roads, shoveling, anything like that, any
So like,
cleaning in the building.
But not plowing,
Got
not
it.
like, that's a
yeah,
contract.
because I saw
Yeah.
plowing separately, so I
Right.
wasn't sure.
Yes.
And I knew, obviously, there's no lawns to take care of, so thank you for clarifying.
okay. So by consensus, do I have, if you don't say anything, I'll just accept as a consensus? Yeah, okay. So consented. All right, thank you. Police report. Chief.
Thank you, Mr. President. For the month of January 2026, the following is the stats for our agency. Calls for service were 685. Of those 685 calls, 290 of those were proactive premise checks within the borough. Issued one parking ticket. We conducted 115 traffic stops. We issued 41 tickets. We investigated 3 traffic accidents, 3 arrests, and that concludes my report.
Thank you, Chief. And we'll have public comment now. This is the part of the meeting, or portion of the meeting where members of the public can address the council on matters not on the agenda. Please approach, state your name and whether or not you live in the borough, and keep your comments to 3 minutes or less. Is there anyone who would like to give public comment? Well, then we'll move on. Thank you. Let me get back. Manager's report. Thank you. Borough Manager Johnson.
Trash payments have been impressive so far. Residents are paying for the full year. As I stated previously many times, we are only issuing one bill for the year, so we've had over 500 households pay for the full year already, which is about 300 more than last year. I want to say thank you to Senator Sanacero and State Rep Perry Warren, who strongly advocated for our grant application for the drainage project, which we were successful in receiving. It's just over $200,000, which will take care of the stormwater drainage that runs through Kramer's parking lot, and then there's also some infrastructure issues that is up on University Drive that will take care of this as well. So this is one that I'm really happy, and I appreciate council's backing for this because it's something that really needed to be done. I advertised the 2026 meeting schedule as required. The only changes were the Planning Commission, the HARB, their start times have bumped up a half hour earlier, so they're both starting at 7 o'clock. We did get additional leaks in our roof with the snow and ice melting. I did contact the DCED and their program director to ask if we could fast track our contracts, because it usually takes a couple months to get there. He mentioned his team is going to try to help us as quick as possible, but they have about 1,200 approved projects that they're handling, so I hope to be a squeaky wheel, so this way.
Probably not ahead of us, but
Well, we'll see. So to try to get this done a little quicker than we anticipated. We had a major uptick on our right to knows, as all of you have been getting emails from Catherine. Only one zoning application this month. We have had no zoning hearing boards for a couple of months. Only 3 building permits for the month of January. What else? I do want to mention South Main Street road closure. I did send this in my manager's corner that we just sent out to all the residents on Friday. Just keep in mind, on or about February 9th, weather depending, the sewer project is happening at 114, 116 South Main Street. The road will be closed from approximately Letchworth Avenue to West College, so between 9 and 3. So there's not going to be any through traffic except for emergency vehicles, obviously. But please plan accordingly, and we thank everybody for their patience while we get this project done. And that is my report for today.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Borough Manager. That was very encouraging. Even the sewer project's encouraging. We do have to take care of our infrastructure, and thanks for the folks, including Senator Santiago and Rep. Parry Warren, for helping us with that as well. Okay,
I have a quick question.
sure, go
I
ahead.
was looking at it. What's the dollar value associated with building permits? Why is there a dollar amount listed there? Like you see zoning, 1216, $150, and then you see building permits, 47,800. And
So
then
that's the amount of the project that people are applying for. So somebody is finishing a basement, so the actual project is costing the homeowner $47,000. So then the permit cost, the permit cost is a percentage of that.
okay, because the one item has $2 values there.
Right,
which I
so-
was confused about.
All right, so the $47,000 is what this particular resident is paying for their new finished basement. And then their building permit fees are $2,087.
Good. Any other comments or comments from the public? Okay, great. Again, thank you, Borough Manager Johnson. Now we move on to the engineer's report.
President?
Yes,
May the chief of police give his report?
he did.
Oh, you did? Okay.
And it's a really great
Okay,
report.
He's going to excuse himself. Sorry about that.
Hey, it's okay. I'm just joshing with you. Yeah, thank you so much again, Chief. Okay. All right. Without further ado, engineer, Mr. Foley.
Thank you. We've issued our engineer's report. Are there any questions? And if not, we can move through the agenda items.
I have a question on 31 West College Avenue. I know that their stormwater drainage system was inspected at the end of December, and I just wondered if that's live, if it's working, if it's improved the drainage in that area.
30 West College Ave right now is an active construction site. Yes, the basin is installed. However, they still have elements to complete for that project. So Manager Johnson and I are going to be coordinating with the school to try to work on concluding that project
Okay.
for the borough.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Are there any other questions on the report?
Counsel?
Okay. All right, moving on. The first item is to authorize to advertise bids for 2 FEMA elevation projects. Contained within your packet, we provided a memo outlining this project. I'll give a brief summary of it.
Thank you.
I would like to have just authorizations voted on separately, just for the record as well. But Yardley Borough has received funding through the FEMA Flood Mitigation Assistance Program, FMA administered by PEMA, which is the Pennsylvania Emergency Management Agency, in order to elevate the existing home at 35 Brown Street and 119 South Bell Street, Bell Avenue, above the 100-year floodplain in Yardley Borough. The work consists of, but not limited to, elevating and temporary supporting the existing structure, constructing new foundations, backfilling existing basement crawl spaces, and then reconnecting, disconnecting, relocating the utilities, and installing flood vents and coordinating utilities and mechanical equipment for both of those homes. Remington and Vernick has been working with Susan Mazzatelli, who's the Yardley Borough floodplain project manager on this project, with the homeowners. The bid documents for both of these projects, the 35 Brown Street elevation, as well as the 119 South Bell Avenue, are being finalized right now. We are requesting permission to advertise for public bid, condition upon we address any remaining owner comments in coordination with Ms. Mazzatelli's office.
So if I understood you, but maybe I didn't, you want them voted on separately, is that correct?
Yeah, I'm just asking, just for the record, to vote on these separately.
Okay. Okay, can I have a movement, would someone move to do one or the other, please?
I move to authorize advertisement for 119 South
Okay.
Avenue.
Okay, and is there a second?
Second.
All right, so we had so you moved to have, Councilwoman Howard asked it to be a motion for that, and a second from Councilwoman Scher. Is there any discussion?
Do either of these projects improve our community flood rating?
Yes.
They do? Okay, great.
Is that generally the rule, or not always?
Did you make a motion?
Anytime we do any mitigation like this, it'll always get us brownie points, scores points, in order to get a better rating as well.
So that's-
So we need to do a certain amount of work throughout the year, and it's actually 2 years where the time frame is when they look at everything and then reassess and change it.
Thank
So
you.
every elevation helps. Any little thing we do will help.
That's great. Okay, was there any questions from the public? No? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any noes? Abstentions? Passes 6-0. Thank you. The second one, would you like to make another motion?
Sure. I move to authorize advertisement for 35 Brown Street elevation project.
Okay, and a second, anybody?
I second it.
I knew it. Okay, so a motion has been made by Councilwoman Howlett and a second from Councilwoman Scher.
All those in favor?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Is that everybody? Any abstentions or noes? No? Okay. Passes 6-0. Thank you. All right, moving on, Mr. Engineer. Patrick, thank you.
All right, thank you. Just moving on, just to give council a brief update regarding our North Main Street Phase 3 sidewalk project. We've been coordinating with PA American Water. PA American Water has been relocating some of the residential service lines that were in our conflict with our proposed storm sewer for our sidewalk project. So that's progressing forward. When weather permitting and the availability of an asphalt plant in the vicinity, our contractor will be working on mobilizing and starting that project. So we'll be keeping constant coordination with our contractor and the borough manager so that we could advise council as well as the public accordingly when that project starts. But we're just waiting for the weather to hold up, get better, as well as the asphalt plants. The closest one right now is about 45 minutes away, and by the time the material gets here, half the material won't be usable due to the weather, due to the temperature requirements of placing the hot mix asphalt. So what we are requesting is consideration for change order number 2 for the North Main Street sidewalk project. This is just associated with some concrete drainage structures that had to be revised out due to some conflicting proximity of utilities within that order. It's for the amount of $5,369. This will be covered under our grant.
So moved. Sorry. The sound delay from that end to this end, but yeah.
Yeah. So you're okay with Mr. Finer making that motion, correct?
Well, somebody has to make it.
I can make
All right.
I'm making the motion that he described, yeah.
second, I didn't hear.
Okay, Mr. Finer made a motion to accept the consideration to approve the change order, and Councilwoman Scherer has seconded that. Is there any discussion on this from the table?
Just want to clarify that this change order, well, a couple of things. One is that it kind of worked out, because we discovered this weird thing with the water lines. And for the public, I just like to fill people in, that some of them were linked to the line across the street instead of the line on their side. And American Water, and thank you to the engineer, Pat Foley, and to Paula for working with the various bureaucracies involved to get this resolved. But the American Water came and did it pretty quickly. I was pretty impressed. When these utilities want to get something done, they know how to move. And so we really we're good to go. We're just waiting for the weather now. This change order has to do with that. But it doesn't cost us anything because it's still covered by the grant. So that's the important part here, is it doesn't actually affect our borough budget at all.
Thanks for explaining that. Okay, any other thing from the table or any comments from the public? No? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay. And any noes or abstentions? Passes 6-0. Thank you. Mr. Engineer.
Thank you. Our next item is consideration to approve payment certificate number 1 for the North Main Street Sidewalk project. We've included this within your packet. It's in the amount of $27,895.54, payment to the amount of to G&B Construction Incorporated.
Okay. Is there
Can I
any?
make a motion?
Yeah, thank
To
you.
approve payment certificate number 1 for North Main Street Sidewalk Project.
I'll second that.
A second. So thank you, Councilwoman Scherer, for the motion, and thank you, Mr. Finer, for seconding that. Is there any discussion from the table? No? Any discussion from the public? All right. In that case, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. And any abstentions? Noes? Great. It passes 6-0. Thank you. And again, Mr. Engineer.
That concludes my engineer's report. Our last item is regarding the consideration to approve the amended plan for Yardley Inn. What we could do is
Yeah, I could just step in. There is a representative for the applicant here, Attorney Michael McGinnis. So I think he does have a brief presentation for council this evening.
Welcome.
Thank you. Sorry,
I think you turned.
red is on.
Okay.
Okay, threw me off.
You're good.
Good evening. Mike McGinnis from Begley Carlin here tonight on behalf of the Yardley Inn. We are back in front of council requesting an amendment to the previously procured preliminary final land development approval for the Yardley Inn. Former council members may recall we were in front of you a couple years ago with this same project, subject to the modifications I will address momentarily. And this has been in the pipeline for quite a while. I believe my first public presentation on this was back in 2021 in front of the Planning Commission. It was discussed the last time we were in front of you, and then in the preceding meetings before that the scope of the project was to do an expansion and a renovation of the inn. Just as a very, very brief summary for those of you who may not be familiar with it, that project, as was presented, consisted of a number of items, such as raising the foundation, expanding the building, moving the outdoor seating to the second floor, making structural improvements for ADA, a slight reduction in the encroachment within the right-of-way, flood-proofing the basement, eliminating the apartment on site, and eliminating the first floor outdoor seating. This would have the effect of moving the Yardley Inn, also the structure, out of the 100-year floodplain. It was also discussed through those meetings how we were going to be retaining as much as possible of the building as part of that process. Subsequent to procuring the approval from council, as is often the case, the consultants worked together to try to address any of the remaining issues that precede the plan recording and then proceeding with construction. And unfortunately, during that process, in consultation with our structural engineer, John Harrison, who is with us this evening if you have any questions, an analysis of the building and the structure unfortunately revealed that the condition necessitated a demolition and a reconstruction of the building rather than a renovation. It's been discussed on multiple occasions and has been a very important part of our presentations, both then and now, that we retain the feel and the aesthetic dynamic to what the Yardley Inn is, because we know what important property that is for the borough. And you're probably familiar with the renderings of the property, because I know a few months ago it came in front of you for HARB approval following the presentation that was made at HARB. I want to reiterate, because I think this is very important, that in terms of the site plan, the land development component of this project, it is the exact same plan that council approved previously, with the only difference being some improved stormwater management that we did not have as part of the prior approval process. The waivers that we're seeking as part of this are the same waivers that were granted by council, with the exception of one additional waiver for stormwater that Zach Ranstead, who's our engineer, can address if there are questions. I will note for the record, as part of the two most recent presentations and conversations with the Planning Commission, we are going to modify the sign design so that it will be changed to show a mounting to the building masonry rather than freestanding at the intersection. The other item is that we are going to continue to work with Andrew and Pat and the consultants of the borough to try to make sure that, if possible, we can plant any additional trees on site around the perimeter. I would like to reiterate that this is obviously a situation that none of us wanted to be in. We are very eager to move forward with this process. Unfortunately, the reality of the circumstances for the Yardley Inn to remain a thriving and important part of this community for the next 10, 20, 50 years, this is the process that will facilitate that. I will also just note, as a brief housekeeping item, that there was some reports that stemmed from the last time that there was a meeting in front of council, I think in the media, that this was going to result in the Yardley Inn shutting immediately. That led to actually a number of cancellations, and I just wanted to state that that is not the case. The Yardley Inn will be remaining open throughout 2026, and is our plan to commence, upon approval hopefully, the demolition and construction in 2027. So that is a big picture summary. We are certainly happy to go through any of the plan details. We can go through the waivers. I would like Mr. Ranstead just to do a very brief overview of the site plan, if you would like, and then we're happy to jump into any additional details and answer questions you
I
have.
welcome Mr. Ranstead to come up and speak, and thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hello, how are you?
Good, thank you. I have the site plan on a flash drive.
Nick, are you handling that? Thank you. Sorry about that, I wasn't sure. While we have this law, counsel, if you have formulating any questions, I would like your, if you are not familiar with something, you could certainly, I'd be open to some discussion. Okay, it should be up in a second.
Were there any questions while we're getting the site plan?
Well, is that okay if, I think I can go ahead and open the
I think
floor?
some of the pictures in our packet are not the latest ones. Like, for example, the sign is now on the building, right? So, I mean, it's
What are we
mostly the
talking
same,
about
right?
specifically, Mr. Feiner?
I'm just looking at our packet and seeing, for example, like I noticed this sign in the packet is not on the.
Maybe, I would like to ask a question. What brought on the idea?
Right.
And it's not I'm opposed to it, just curious why they want to put, where you want to put the
Right.
sign on the masonry, who suggested that and why? Just curious.
Site distance a little bit more than we
Okay.
presented.
Yeah, I'm just
Yes,
pointing
that
out
was
it
very
doesn't-
important
It
to
doesn't exactly
us. Thank you
match.
very much.
Because it's like you don't have a rendering
ahead.
with
I
those
don't
changes.
have
Yeah.
Excuse me.
this too, but it's just an observation and a thought, and you can tell me this I'm wrong because I have limited knowledge, but I'm going to just go with it. When I hear that it would be done in 2027, I wonder if it might be better to tell people to stay tuned and look for
An
like
announcement?
announcements or something published from Yardley Inn when it's going to happen, because so many times it's going to happen this year, and then it happens maybe a year later. And now everybody says, well, they're going to be closed in 2027. So just in case there's like a delay or something.
thank you.
Just to help the business, I think that would be for me, that would be important, because a lot of people hang on all of your words, you know.
Yeah, I guess I understand your point, just to avoid any confusion, but that's not demand. But I think it would behoove you, I guess, to.
Because I have been in the restaurant when people stopped coming because they were truly believing that I can't go there because they're going to close. And that's detrimental to the wonderful business that we have in town. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other, before it's,
It's a big picture thing. I just like to say that I've been to a lot of meetings at Planning Commission, and just over the years, there's been a lot of work done on this, and I appreciate that. I think that your group has been, has worked well in good faith with the borough on it, and I really see that. So
we had
appreciate it.
spoken about that earlier, and I also wanted to concur that, it's never easy, especially given the circumstances that you had. Michelle, I know how near and dear the inn is to you. I see you back there. That's why I'm picking on you. And it's somewhere where our family and many families, not just from our community, but communities all around and visitors. This is something that's near and dear to my heart is, the community and economic impact and what the Yardley Inn is for this community. And without it, I wouldn't know. I'm fully support, and I do because we voted on last time, going with this because the dangers and the other issues that went along with, lifting the building and it'll be standing, freely basically for a year or whatever, was too much for you and even us, I think, as a concern and possibly it collapsing or someone getting hurt, and we wouldn't want to see that happen. So thank you for taking the time and doing it right. And I know I forgot. Could you introduce yourself? Because you were part of the team, too.
I'm Linda with Breakdale Architects. So I've met many of you previously, but
Yeah, and I'm simply, because I want to commend you guys for working with us and accepting the kind of suggestions of both the Planning Commission and, Mr. Feiner and myself. I hope that we were, we tried to look at what's best for this community, but I think that you clearly have, within the spirit of doing the right thing, so thank you. Now, moving on, please.
The borough's been, just on behalf of the inn, a wonderful partner throughout this process. That includes all the boards that we have appeared in front of. It would not be possible to be at this stage without the support from the borough, the support from Pat's team, from Andrew's team, and of course from Paula. It's been as good of an experience as we could, given the circumstances.
Given the circumstances, thank you. And without further ado.
So Linda will follow the slide here in a second. As part of our application before we were looking at a reconstruction, our stormwater management, working through the code and compliance with the code, consisted of one rain barrel. We owed about 11 gallons of stormwater management. And then when reconstruction for the ordinance definitions, we owed for the footprint within the building, and instead, slide. Thank you. So you can see there we have about 300 some gallons of stormwater management that we are obligated to manage, and we're proposing to do that with an underground pipe that'll be under the parking lot. It'll be out of sight, out of mind, but the entire roof, all the downspouts from the roof will get routed through the system, and it'll control the rate and the volume. And we'll still have a rain barrel in the back at the request of Planning Commission, just for aesthetics, or to have a statement piece back there for stormwater so that it's more perceptible. The additional waiver we're requesting tonight is in regard to infiltration. The spirit of the ordinance would have you infiltrate the water back into the ground, but the geology of the site is that we're in Alton gravel, and our water table is going to be the same as the Delaware River water elevation. And when it floods, the water elevation will be above the ground, and you need at least a 2-foot separation distance for proper infiltration. So as a result, we're proposing essentially the equivalent to DEP's managed release concept, which is it's an approved alternative to infiltration after you've exhausted your other options. So just given our small site, and there's not really anywhere else that we could somehow infiltrate stormwater, this is the best thing that we could do to manage our stormwater. We're proposing a new outfall that'll bleed the water out into Buck Creek. It'll go down the slope. We'll need a outfall permit from DEP for that, but I already talked to them about it, and it's just a procedural thing, really.
Okay. Do you have anything else to add, or can I open up the questions at the table? Anyone have any comments or questions? Martha?
Oh, sorry. I was just wondering if you could give us a sense of, during the demolition and construction phase, how it'll impact traffic on North Delaware and East Afton Aves.
We're still looking at that internally. We expect that we might have some limited lane closures, some flagging, and take it down to one lane, try to stage that operation so it's off peak traffic.
Okay.
Coordinate with the police department, et cetera.
Okay. I heard thank you, Jason.
Estimated completion date?
I don't know when they're starting.
We were just told not to put it.
Yeah, I know. What are you talking
You're probably looking, I know Michelle wants it done as quick as possible, but probably at least a year to 16 months by the time we start to demo it, hopefully have it wrapped up, open again.
Okay. I'm sorry, Ms. Mayor?
Yes, so stormwater management is something very near and dear to my heart. This is a floodplain, and we have had issues with the addition of outfalls in the borough in recent years, causing damage to our stream beds. So just curious, when you say that this is approved, an approved stormwater management system, who is it approved by? And what is the recourse if we see after the fact damage to the Buck Creek stream beds or watershed?
Sure. So in this case, it is Mr. Foley who has the ultimate say on this. I will note, though, that we're not changing the impervious cover on the site from what's there now, so it's no worse than what's there today. I believe I designed a 4-inch pipe coming out of this thing, so the size of the pipe going down to the creek is that big, and it's spilling out on a small stone apron before it goes right to the water, so there's really no chance for erosion. And should the system fill up, there's an inlet on the edge of the parking lot where water will sheet over the edge of the parking lot just like it does today. So we're not really changing the hydrologic regime. We're just capturing some of the water that is kind of leaving the site now and holding it and releasing it. So in a smaller water quality storm event, it'll dial things back a little bit.
Is there anything in this mechanism that will reduce the velocity of the water coming out of the pipe?
In a small storm, I have a drop structure in there, so once it actually goes out to the creek, some energy will be dissipated just by it dropping, and then the apron will take care of the rest of it.
Thank you.
Mr. Engineer, do you have any comments, or you're okay?
Yeah, just to let the council know, is the The applicant will be entering into an operation maintenance agreement for their stormwater facilities. It includes the outfall as well as the rain barrel, and they'll have on-site sweeping as well to assist with their water quality requirement.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, Councilman Menzel.
Just because I'm new to the council, so we didn't change anything to the amount of impervious surface on here?
No.
So anything we're doing is actually a current improvement to what we already currently have anyways? Thanks.
Thank you. Any questions from, if we don't have any more questions from the table, from the public?
Well, actually, I have one
Sorry,
more.
Mr.
Just, you
Finer.
know what I was just thinking about, because earlier it came up with elevations and how they affect the community rating system.
Okay.
So here we have a major change because we're taking this whole structure and raising it above the floodplain. So I imagine this would be affecting the calculation of square footage that's vulnerable, correct? Am I right about that?
We would have to check into that.
Yeah.
But potentially improve that calculation. It's not like direct, it's kind of like an overall, yeah, it's not one-to-one, but it enters the
When there's a
equation.
complete demolition, we're not allowed to factor that in, but yeah, we could look into it, yeah.
Great.
I can only see the only difference is that this facility has a basement, right? Or,
It is, but it's monolithic, concrete, waterproof.
okay, all right. Any, last call from the table? Any, yes,
I
Michelle?
just would like to
Sure.
repeat myself, and I understand what you're saying, Jason, about, an estimated date when it's completed, but I just think that, like they say in the social media, stay tuned, because I've seen so many times, just being on council and before I was on council, that, plans are made, and then things happen, and then everything comes to a stop. And then all people say is, but you said. So I like to stay tuned and kind of leave it open, and you can kind of give a ballpark, but you can kind of hurt yourself, I think, when you do that.
Okay,
That's
well,
my opinion.
I appreciate that, and thank you. Is there one last call to the table?
I have one more question.
Yes, Mr.
So
Benson.
if it's the same impervious surface as it currently is, why do we need to add the outspout anyways into Buck Creek if you're already adding the rain barrel?
It's-
An engineer question?
Yeah, it's to manage the disturbed area. And so they are managing, per our code, is you need to manage existing disturbed area, impervious area. So since they're replacing the building with the new building, you need to manage that new building. As when when the applicant was before council previously, they were lifting the existing building. It wasn't a disturbance to that existing building footprint. But now that it's a total reconstruction, they had to modify their stormwater to meet the requirements of the code.
Are you sort of displacing the water, like rather than have it going around the building, you're kind of putting it where it's best used, like in a creek?
Yeah, from that end there's the rate requirement, and the applicant is providing within their report regarding the no harm option for the rate control, but the applicant's addressing the water quality, the groundwater recharge with the rain barrel in the MRC system here as well. So they're meeting those requirements in addition to the erosion sediment control during construction as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, from the public, anything? Okay, I think at this time, there is a motion that was here.
If there's no other questions, I would just ask for Mike, just to kind of move it along, because we didn't get into the waiver letter. Just generally, I assume that you're in agreement. All the comments by the engineer, RVEs, review letters, those are all will comply.
That is correct, yes.
Same thing with the Bucks County Planning Commission, the recommendations from our Planning Commission.
We have everything as they will comply except for the waivers that are delineated and supplied in, I believe, the November 13th T&M letter, yes.
And then I just note with regard to one of your waivers, the engineer had a comment to section 22-517.5 to provide parking and aisle dimensions less than required. I think generally his comment was just requesting that the applicant would cooperate with the borough of if there needed to be some kind of repaving or resurfacing with some of the damage to the existing parking lot?
Of course, we will do that, yes.
Okay, does that summarize your comment, Pat, generally?
Yeah, that does summarize it. The one item too is, since the existing parking is really non-conforming to the codes from the spaces, size, and aisles. We've talked about it as maintaining that existing nonconformity. If in the future there are issues with pedestrian safety, traffic safety, at the request of the council, is we would be looking at, if there is an issue, maybe in the future, council could request the applicant to address those items.
I don't think that's an issue.
Thank you. Solicitor, you have any other comments?
No, if council's ready to make a motion, you certainly
And
can.
is it okay that I point them in this direction? Oh, sorry, the other. Okay, so what I'd like to do here, there is a recommended motion that was drafted with the assistance of our engineer. It's on page 2 of 3 of the report. Would someone like to read that as a motion for this project? I'll give you a second to read it through yourself if you like.
I saw it earlier, but I don't
I
remember.
can read it.
All right, I appreciate that. And this is from the 445 version?
Yeah. 442, that includes.
Oh,
the
I'm
planning
sorry,
commission.
442. Thank you for keeping me on my toes.
All right, I make a motion to grant the preliminary/final land development plan approval for proposed Yardley Inn improvements project with the following conditions. 1, the applicant shall comply in full with all requirements of the Yardley Borough Code of Ordinances, including but not limited to subdivision and land development ordinance, stormwater management ordinance, and the zoning ordinance unless relief was granted by the body having jurisdiction. 2, any remaining review comments shall be addressed in full. 3, satisfactory addressing the solicitor's off-site parking lease agreement comments. 4, the applicant shall improve the on-site parking lot at the request of Borough Council if pedestrian circulation, vehicular circulation, and vehicular parking becomes an issue. The improvements will be required to be reviewed by the borough consultants, and approved by the Borough Council. 5, address and obtain any necessary approvals for the additional off-site improvements satisfactory of the borough engineer, and any temporary construction easements deemed necessary by the borough solicitor. 6, address the Bucks County Planning Commission comments. 7, address the Planning Commission conditions. And 8, obtain all applicable permits and approvals.
Thank you.
Second?
I-
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, second, and I just was going to thank Councilwoman Hallett. I hope that was clear and that everyone on council understands. We also have a second from Councilwoman Scherer. With that said, I'd like to ask for those all in favor.
Aye.
Aye. And any noes or nays? Abstentions? That passes 6-0. Congratulations.
Thank you again. Appreciate it.
We got there. All right. Sorry. Let me go back to my original agenda. And it's actually time to hear the solicitor's report.
Thank you, Mr. President. So we have 2 items on my report. Both of those involve the 2026 amended budget. The first item is adoption of ordinance 2026, which is the tax levy ordinance. I would just note that council is permitted to amend the budget pursuant to Section 1311, as long as that amendment's adopted before February 15th. Borough Council previously voted to advertise the ordinance back on January 20th. The public notice for the ordinance was posted at the Borough on January 22nd, 2026. It was then advertised in the Courier-Times for this date on January 27th, 2025. Again, this tax levy ordinance, it just involves a reduction in the millage. For the general fund, the millage is going from 28.13 down to 26.7, which is a reduction of approximately 5%. The capital reserve is going down from 3.39 mils to 3.3 mils. That's a reduction of about 2.69%. So in total, the reduction would be approximately 5% with the reduction. So with that, I would just ask for a motion to adopt the 2026 tax levy ordinance.
Anyone would like to make that motion? Okay, and a second? Well, let's give Jason a shot. How about that? Thank you, Councilwoman Howlett, for the motion, and thank you, Mr. Goldstein, for that great second. Is there any discussion at the table? Not hearing anything from the public? Okay. I will then ask all those in favor.
Aye.
Aye. Any nays? Abstentions? Passes 6-0.
And then the second item involving the same matter is just the adoption of the 2026 amended budget. I would just note that public notice of the amended budget, making this amended budget available for public inspection for 10 days, was advertised in the Courier Times on January 22nd, 2026. So based upon that being advertised and it being before you this evening, it can just be adopted by motion of council.
So moved by Councilman Scher, and a second? All right, thank you, Mr. Goldstein. Good job. Any discussion from the table? And from the public? Okay, I'm not hearing anything. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any nays? Abstentions? Passes 6-0. Thank you, Mr. Solicitor. Is there anything else that you want to discuss?
No, that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor, I'm waiting with bated breath about the snow cleanup.
Thank you, Mr. President. So we had a snowstorm. And I just wanted to spend a few moments, because it was such a large event, going over our response and kind of how we plan to do things the same and differently in the future, since it was, I don't know about for you all, but a high volume of resident communications to myself and to the borough office regarding the storm that we were trying to be responsive of. So we did declare a state of emergency for snow. It was for two reasons. The first is that I learned if we declare a local emergency, if the state declares a statewide emergency, the governor's office, it allows us the borough having declared an emergency to potentially recoup some of the costs related to our emergency management of the storm. It also allows us to enact further parking restrictions than just our typical Main Street parking restrictions during a snowstorm. I want to thank Evergreen Landscaping, our snow plow contractor, Manager Johnson, our emergency management coordinator, Wes Foraker, as well as the police department, Chief Golden, Corporal Clark, and Officer Martin were our duty officers during the storm. So the plowing contractor was staged and ready on site throughout the storm. They were directed by the borough manager and the duty officers throughout the storm. We were in constant contact during the storm, getting updates from the police department of pictures of the roads and how they were looking. And then the manager would dispatch or redispatch the plows as needed based on the police department's reports, or if we got a resident complaint. A big topic of outreach from the public was salt. So this was a really difficult one regarding salt, because the temperatures were very low and they were going to stay low. If we had salted before the storm, the salt would be plowed away. Throughout the storm, same thing. We were constantly plowing throughout the storm. And then there also, I don't know if anyone's seen on the news, there is a national salt shortage right now. So we are trying to be conservative with our use of salt. I'm hearing one of few municipalities that has salt on hand still, which is good considering we are expecting some more ice and snow events in the future. So we did use salt sparingly after the storm on some roadways that needed it, but for the most part, it was not a great storm to use salt in, just because of the low temperatures. The plan was to do curb-to-curb plowing, but because of the volume of snow, we didn't have a lot of places to put it. So we did the best we could on streets where folks did comply with the parking restrictions to move their cars to get as close to the curb as we could. But because we did have some non-compliance with the parking restrictions, as well as just so much snow on some streets, we were not able to get as close as we would have liked. We also did have emergency removal by our Public Works contractor on Tuesday on Main Street. The snow was actually picked up and removed from Main Street to Fitzgerald Field, I believe. No? Pico lot. This was because all of our parallel parking spots were completely covered by the snow. We haven't had to do that in probably 12 years, but that was just deemed necessary to widen the road. I am proud to say that we didn't hit any mailboxes, which some other municipalities in the area cannot say the same. So we did have a debrief yesterday and today, and so some things we would like to do differently in the future. If we're anticipated to get a large event, 6 inches or more, it was suggested that we order markers for residents to come and pick up at Borough Hall. You might have seen them. They're like flexible plastic pieces, 3 per household. That they're very inexpensive, that they can stick at their property line or in their sidewalk, so that the plows can easily differentiate where the property line starts, so that you're not concerned about hitting folks' lawns. Earlier and clearer communication to folks regarding moving their cars. There was some confusion, like, well, I don't have a driveway. How can I move my car? So making it clear, if you don't have a driveway, Buttonwood Park is where we're asking you to put your cars. And then finally, there was some issues with large volumes of snow being left on a few residents' sidewalks. So just some conversations ahead of time about if we have too much snow, where are the best places to leave it on each street. So happy to answer any questions, but all in all, I'm proud about how we handled the event. Driving around after the fact, I stayed in during the snowstorm, but after the fact, I thought our roads were among the best in the area. So again, thanks to the crew.
Yeah. I'll just say that thank you very much to you and everyone else that responded. And I think as long as we did the follow-up and we've learned a few things of how to improve it, I'm very pleased to hear that. And no, you didn't. No one hit my mailbox because I couldn't get near my mailbox. It was like 4 or 5 feet away, but that's okay. No problem. I didn't want the bills anyway. But seriously, great job to you and the team and the police and everyone in your office. Paul, I really appreciate it. Is there any comments for the mayor?
I have one comment just about more like the residents. Now, we have more sidewalks now, which is a good thing.
Yes.
This is really, for some people who have sidewalks, it's really the first major snowstorm we've had with the sidewalks. And generally, people have been very good about shoveling. This was a challenging one because of that last, compacted layer that was on top of all of it. And so if people didn't get to it right away, there's a lot of spots definitely along North Main Street, but all over the borough where, you can see where they tried, and it's kind of like the whole thing is like 6 inches wide, and now that space is full of ice, and it's just dangerous. And so I think it's education for all of us, but just putting the word out there that the sooner you can get to it, if you have a sidewalk in front of your house, the better, because the next day it may be unshovelable.
Excellent point. And not to brag, but my neighbor and I were out there at different intervals to make sure that we were ahead of the snow a bit, and that worked out really well. We're going to be having a sidewalk snow removal symposium next year. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Unless you want to.
And
But it's actually a very serious thing. And I also want to thank you and Mr. Foraker for going out and not only checking to see that people are in compliance, but for safety reasons, I think it's important to know what's going on around the whole borough. So thank you again.
I think we should acknowledge those neighbors with snow blowers and just manual labor that went around.
That is the
helping
good
their
neighbor
neighbors.
policy I've been talking about.
It really is amazing to see how much help people offer to other people, especially for people who are not really physically able to shovel. I saw a lot of that going on.
And when I said I helped my neighbor, I didn't really mean it, because I had my hip replacement, an emergency surgery after that, and all I could really do was cheer him on. So if you're listening, thank you. But good neighbors get a lot more done if we can rely on each other sometimes, and not always think that everything is just the borough's responsibility, even though it's nice to have the support from the borough as well. Anyone else where we're good? Mr. Mayor? Not Mr. Mayor, sorry. Mayor? I'm sorry, I'm just, I'm getting used to this.
That is fine. I will respond to that. I have nothing else to report this evening. Thank you.
Oh, that was it. Okay. Well, thank you for your report. Oh, sorry, a question from the audience.
Well, I just want to say, Mayor, the idea of the rods, I really like it.
Excellent.
Are we supposed to purchase them?
So the plan will be obviously, if we're only expecting a couple inches, we're not going to be purchasing them, but the borough would purchase them. Residents would come and pick up 3, and then you would just be responsible for keeping them for future storms in your garage or your basement or something like that.
It would be great, just so we have them, so the plows don't, they damage, they don't mean to, they damage the curb.
Yep.
Have all the cord right at the top.
Mm-hmm.
And they bang the plow down right there to go down. If they don't have the indication of where the curb is, that's a problem.
Yes, we have heard that about Cadwallader, yes.
We would like to have them for there, because they bang right in front of the house, because that's where they go down.
Thank you for the feedback.
Thank you. Mr. Bishop?
Yes, having a service walking on the streets and sidewalks and things like that. If we can tell the neighbors, I posted on my website, Yardley Borough, Facebook, is that when you walk dogs, the salt and chemicals that they're put on the road are very toxic to dogs and animals. Benjamin got a quick stick on Friday because he licked his paws after he didn't wipe his paws off well enough, and he got some salt into him. He was not doing so well on that, so I just want to let people know that, I buy pet-friendly salt, but that's not what's put down.
Sure.
It's important that pet owners know that salt that's on the ground is not great for dogs or animals, and if you walk a dog out or a cat out, please wipe their feet off.
That's a great suggestion. Thank you so much for saying that. I'm wondering if my dog had an issue with that, because I just took my dog to the vet today. And just quick question, does it result in like stomach issues, or what is the... Okay, I guess I figured out what went wrong. Okay.
Snow and everything else that's on the cars, dropping off the cars from where you've been, you still, things are hanging off of backs of cars from wherever they were, they're gonna trip off into the roadway, and it doesn't take much to get a dog or an animal sick.
It was something that was discussed on our debrief call today, and another reason why we were very sparing with our salt use in the borough. We are a river town as well, and it hurt your dog. You can imagine what it does when it enters our river and our streams. It's not good for our ecosystem, so we do try to use it as little as possible.
Excellent. Thank you so much for bringing that up. I appreciate it. Mayor, do you have anything else? Any other questions? We're good? Public? Okay, good. Okay. Then I will move on to council member reports. I'm going to stick myself in at the end. I know I'm not usually in there, but I do have something I want to say. So Kim Siegel-Morris is not here. Mr. Feiner?
Well, I'll take up Kim's time too then, because I actually
minutes.
I actually have a substantial amount of stuff here. So
Oh, geez.
from the Planning Commission, of which I'm the liaison, this year they'll be working on applying for a new grant to redo the comprehensive plan, which was actually due to be done. It's the current one that we have is from 2014. Now they'll be requesting more money for the grant from the Bucks County Planning Commission, which they were requested to request more. So I'm anticipating that happening this year. My late father once told me this story about an author who sent his manuscript and nobody was publishing it. So he glued all the pages in the middle together. And then he got back a rejection, and he called the publisher and said, "Hey, you didn't even read my manuscript." And they responded saying, when you bite into a rotten egg, you don't need to eat the whole egg to realize that it's rotten. The reason I tell you this story is because our comprehensive plan, if any of you tried to read it, that was posted on the website for years, I don't know if it still is, was missing like the whole middle of it. And it became clear to me over time in doing some of the Public Works meetings that I don't think people on council had read it. So I asked Paula to send me a PDF, which she did, of the current 2014 comprehensive plan, and it is a actual searchable PDF, so you can search for words instead of the old one, which was just like images, so you can't search. And I'm going to ask you, Paula, if you could send it to everyone, that would be great. And if you could glue some of the pages in the middle together, we'll test people.
That wasn't what I was going to say. I was going to ask, could we replace the one that's online with the searchable one?
Yeah.
So much.
And because it's a great thing to have like a vision. I often talk about having a vision, and that's where, what we do here is to execute that. But how can we execute a vision if we don't know what the vision is? So I encourage everyone to read it. It's actually pleasant reading. It's not as boring as some of the other items like I think the flood management. Wes once talked about how it was like more bathroom reading. This one I think is, it could be a little bit like a few levels higher than that. So please do read it in your overtime. And the Planning Commission also would like some sort of a shared folder structure so that they can centralize their documents. What happens a lot of times is that people say, oh, I sent you an email with an attachment, and it never winds up anywhere.
Understood.
And it would be much better if we could put the document in a place and send an email saying, I put this document in that folder that's for like this project, let's say, and then the whole group there has access to it. So we've spoken about this in the past, but I just wanted to mention that they have a need for that, and they also began to question whether they should have separate email addresses. So it's a question, addresses as members of the Planning Commission as opposed to their personal addresses, which they all use. So we might want to consider creating a policy around that and a process around that.
Yes, go ahead, Mayor.
We use this method on the Elevation Resident Advisory Board. I love it. I will say that half of the members struggle with it immensely, and it has caused them to stop participating as much in the committee because they feel like there's a technological barrier. So just something to be aware of.
Explain the details of the barrier. I'm not sure I'm following exactly.
So if you don't have a Microsoft 365 account associated with your email address, you have to keep track of the link to the shared drive, which they keep, it's like if
I see.
they keep losing that, and then like access, you have to access it from the, allegedly, the original device that was given access, the original email that was, so if they're on their phone, they no longer have access if they had been using their computer with a different email. It's just a lot of things like that. I don't sit with folks and try to troubleshoot the specific issues. It's just frustrating enough that it's become a barrier to their participation. And I think if we are going to,
Well, it sounds
I
like,
think it's a good thing for committees to do. I like it because every time I'm going to work on ERAB stuff, I go there and everything's there, and there's comments from other people on my documents, but they're only comments from the two other people who are comfortable using it. So just something to keep in mind.
Yeah.
thank you. And it does sound like the committee itself is requesting it. I will say that, I was going to cover this in my little president's report, that Borough Manager Johnson and myself have been having regular meetings discussing various topics, and I'll go into that, but one of them is improvement of the use of technology, how to make it accessible and not make it more of a second nature rather than thinking about as tech. And I know that's maybe a big step for some people. And we could have training, yeah. So I'll just leave it at
And I
that.
think that what
So thank you. Is there anything else?
I
Mr.
do more. What the mayor is talking about is a good point in terms of how it's implemented, right? So that's the part that I think we can learn from that. And also a committee or a board that is meeting regularly that has appointed people to it as opposed to sort of like an ad hoc one might make more sense to, invest time in training. Anyway, that's just food for thought. Public Works is now meeting monthly on the first Tuesday at 6:30 here in Borough Hall. So if you are interested to the public, especially if you care about things like walkability, crosswalks, parks, things like that, and raising money to create those things, that's the place to be. And let's see, we covered North Main. So I wanted to talk about the meeting today, where we talked a lot about grants. And I should mention that thanks to our state representatives' help as well, in the last couple of months, we actually raised $500,000 between the roof and the 2 drainage projects on North Main and University through grants. And then going back last few years, we raised $2 million just for sidewalks and drainage. So grants are really important. And we talked about creating a roadmap in 2026. And our main challenge right now is that we have grants that some need to be reapplied for, which cost us money, and that perhaps we can, if there's any person who wants to assist in the community, who has some experience in grant writing as a volunteer, it would be helpful, because when we resubmit a grant, all the engineering work has been done. But if we don't have somebody to actually organize and go through the requirements of that grant and take what we have and kind of reorganize it as necessary for another grant, then we have to pay high engineering fees to do it. And we'd rather optimize and use our engineering budget for engineering than for, organized grant writing. So just a call to people who might have grant writing capability. I think that it could be helpful if you want to volunteer. Maybe, but it still needs somebody that can take the time into understanding it. But yeah, I think the AI certainly could be helpful. There are 3 projects in particular: the Dolington Sidewalk Extension, which is really the last part of the North Main Street sidewalk, and actually, it's soon to be even more important because Lower Makefield just received their 2nd grant for continuing that North Main Street sidewalk up Taylorsville Road. So that's becoming an important connection point. And we have a gap. We received the grant to do the construction. We have a gap in the design costs for that. There's the Afton Avenue, which we worked on last year, which we'll be reapplying for. And then there's crosswalk improvements. We applied for a grant for that, but we also need to cover the gap in our design costs to do that. So we talked about various grants. We found federal grants and state grants and grants we hadn't looked at before, regional grants. Also, in December, we became a Complete Streets Vision Zero community. Just so happens that those 2 resolutions allow us to apply for grants that are for the purpose of executing those policies. So it's kind of opened the door to more possible grants. So I just wanted to update the public in that conversation, because that's an important thing we're going to be working on this year. The last 2 items is that Judy's Garden, we own a sculpture that the donor of that property also donated a beautiful sculpture called The Dancer, which is currently in New Hope, up at New Hope Arts, and it needs to be moved. So we're working on trying to figure out where it's going to go to is Judy's Garden, but there's a big sewer project coming, so we've been trying to figure out how can we move the sculpture once and not twice. And so we'd like to move it once to Judy's Garden, where it's going to be, so that part is done. And then when the sewer project is complete, we'll do the work on the landscaping to set up Judy's Garden. And that would also be through a grant.
Do you mind, for the record, to tell everyone where Judy's Garden is located?
Judy's Garden is a property of 1.6 acres, I believe, if I recall correctly.
Got my
1.3.
measure.
It's a property just north of Afton, past the yellow, the yellow house after the parking lot.
Lakeside.
Yeah, and it was donated to us by somebody who was looking to build a house there and decided instead to donate it as a sanctuary in memory of his late wife. So it's going to be a garden. There'll be a sculpture there. It'll be a place where you could have some peace and tranquility and relax outside the hustle and bustle of downtown Yardley. And then the final part is the Yardley Borough Trailhead, because we also have a grant that we're going to be looking into getting to pay for amenities, such as picnic table, a bench, that kind of thing, so that we could,
Was there
minimal, but just so we can, the public can make good use of that
a
space.
bicycle?
I believe Parks and Rec was going to install a bicycle, like a stand that you can adjust your bicycle right along the towpath there. So I'm going to assume that's still happening.
I could just direct this, Takavilla. Is that still on the table, or is that?
Fantastic.
Oh, fantastic, thank you.
Is there any parking for the trailhead?
So Paul and I just spoke about it, because along Fold Avenue right now, there's still the old no trespassing signs. So the simple solution would be to take those signs down and just allow, it's not like we're going to create a parking lot, but right along Fold Avenue, you could have, there's room for probably like maybe 3 cars to parallel park. So we talked about just putting like a green sign that says parking and then like no overnight parking. So it's kind of like obvious that it's like, don't store your car there. But if you need to park there to make use of that space, you could park there.
So
Low-key way.
because it's a existing street, it's exempt from the floodplain, impervious or
Well, yeah, we wouldn't be doing anything structural. So
All
no
gravel.
no
pretty much,
permanent.
Right? Oh,
There's that asphalt part in the middle of it.
that's the actual site, but not on Fold. I thought that part.
Fold is, I don't know, it's like a mix of hard pack. I wouldn't call it, I would call it impervious, just because it's so hard packed. But it is what it is. We're not changing it. You can already park there. It's just not clear to, essentially the idea is just to make it obvious what already is allowable instead of being confusing. So that's the end. That's all I have.
Your 3 minutes is up.
Thank you.
And
Well, I stole some from Kim, so.
any response, or we're good? Okay. How about general government? Do you have a report,
Yes.
Councilwoman?
Just some numbers from the January budget and spending. On the revenue side, we received about 3,000 more in revenue than budgeted for our prior year property taxes, so that's a humble good guy for a budget. And then on the expense side, we spent about $23,000 on snow and salt, which is 39% of our annual budget, which seems reasonable given the volume. We are already at 34% of budget on our right to know request, so we'll be watching growth in that category. And then, as you know, we voted to finalize it today, but we have hit the 30 mil tax limit on our general fund / capital reserves. So we need to start thinking about other forms of revenue. Along those lines, Paula, Patty, and I had a conversation with Keystone Collections, which is the Bucks County contracted earned income tax, or EIT collector, just to get some ballpark ideas of what the figures would be like with an EIT. So an EIT at 0.5% would be equivalent to about 60% of the revenue we're bringing in from property taxes. And that's including $145,000 that's already getting paid by our residents for other municipalities, EITs, that would go to us. So that's a really significant amount of money. And we have a bit of a Goldilocks problem if we did implement it, because we'd either want to adjust our property taxes down to offset that revenue, or have an EIT at lower than 0.5%, which would make us an outlier for municipalities. A reduction in property taxes would be, a relief to our retirees and other people on Social Security income who wouldn't be taxed under an EIT. And they might be feeling some more pressure, because I'm sure Pennsbury just passed the 14.6 millage increase for the building of the new high school. So that's something to think about. But none of this is policy, it's just exploration, and I just wanted to bring it up as early as possible so people know that it's a distinct possibility. We're at our limit of what we can charge for property taxes, and I don't think expenses are going down next year, so this just seems like a prudent thing to investigate. But we definitely want to keep communication open with residents, and, you know, if anything does get implemented, we would want to educate as early on as possible and, you know, communicate as clearly as possible the budgetary needs behind something like this.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for your honest and straightforward assessment of the situation.
Of course.
Okay, sorry. Lost my place here. Oh, yes. Jason, I don't think you have anything, but do you have anything? Okay, I will just say, as the former chair of Community and Economic Development, I have continued to go to some meetings until we adjust, you know, our schedules and stuff, but there's a lot, as attested by the mayor, there's a lot going on in this town, and, you know, it's not the same Yardley I moved to 18 years ago. It's we're a hotbed of a lot of activity, and thanks to the many restaurants and businesses, and generally people who just want to live in this community. So I always like to say that that we're there to support our businesses and others that have taken a risk on, you know, being part of our community and, you know, improving, you know, our stature as a destination, because I'm pretty sure, Carol, I think you've been around a while, no offense, that, yeah, okay, you know what I mean, Carol, that, you know, this hasn't always been this lively. Jeff, do you agree?
I agree.
I was actually talking to Jeff, but it's really amazing, the improvements and the community that we've developed over. I'm not saying maybe it's a coincidence that I moved here 18 years ago, and that's when things started to really pop. But just kidding. But you got one on me. But it's really been good, and just like to keep that up. Okay, that being said, we can move on to community outreach.
Yes, I do have a little.
Please.
Okay, we have 3 more applications for the HARB. And we've already interviewed one, and the first application that we interviewed was here in council. So I recommend that we interview the other 3 on March the 3rd, because our next meeting will be at the end of February, and that's when we have our monthly committee reports and
the work sessions.
session. So that's kind of, that would be too hard to put it in there. So I would like to recommend that we put it on the agenda for March the 3rd.
Okay, I have no opposition to that. Is there any reason why we wouldn't? Is that
No, she's proposed to put it on the agenda. It's something that could be added to the agenda.
And so we have a total of 4 applicants,
And
is
there
that
will
what
be
you're
4,
saying?
yes.
For the...
For the HARB, Historical Architectural Review Board.
Okay, and, but if there's still people out there that have an interest, please go ahead and fill out an application for that position. And one important thing is that that's the one commission that you do not need to be a borough resident. But correct me if I'm wrong, but one of the things we're looking for is possibly their experience with older properties, historical properties. Could you fill in any blanks?
Yeah, no, I think they were looking for people that were possibly architects and realtors, you know, people with experience with the older buildings.
Okay.
And,
But not necessarily...
but it doesn't but you don't have to live in the borough.
Okay, anything you would like to add, Borough Manager? Okay, well, thank you. Is there anything else?
How many people on the board currently are, just, do you know offhand, are borough residents?
They're all, I think.
They're all borough residents?
Oh, or now.
Yeah.
So that's like not required, but.
It's not
better if
required.
They are, yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay, anything else, Councilwoman Sher?
Nope, that's all I have.
Okay, Mr. Menzel, anything? Or,
I'm not a chair of anything.
oh, that's right, I'm so sorry. not, but if you have any comments, I welcome them. I can't see, I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, no.
You're there? Okay. All right, well, thank you. This gives me a quick opportunity, just as I don't always wouldn't do a report, but just very quickly, to bring the community up to date on some of the things. I have a vision for, this position as president, and I know that our mayor, who was our former president, had her own vision for things, and a lot of that's still the same. But what I want to do, and I realized over time, is I like to make office hours available by appointment. I set myself up next door. Thank you, Paula, for helping me. It was nice to see the dust. I'm just kidding, I'm messing with you. But it's really important to me to have communication with the residents or anyone else that has questions, concerns, or anything else. And so I will be making probably a more formal announcement, probably online, and ask you to do the same thing for me through one of the emails. But I will be available to talk, and I think that that's honestly a good thing, because the more that I'm available, the better the communication. And I don't want to say transparency, because we're transparent, but I think sometimes there's a perception that there may not be transparency. But if I'm making myself available, I want to make sure that those people that would like to talk about things have someone to speak to. And of course, I guess anyone else that wants to join in on the fun, but I am purposely setting up office hours. Also to
Are you
Mr.
announcing what they are, or that's?
No, I'm saying by appointment. I'll make that, I'm going to make
okay.
that, my window available shortly.
Okay,
I
thanks.
just don't know what it is yet.
Okay.
But to your point, Mr. Feiner, about technology, to my point about working closely with you, Paula, over the last few weeks, that I want to, I have a vision, and I think you and I have understand each other very well, and that we both want the same thing, which is, part of my mission to make myself available, and myself to you and the staff as well. But I am not the gatekeeper. That's your purview. But I think with saying that, I always will defer to you on those kind of things, and that because it's important, your presence and your work here is very important, and I don't want people to lose sight of that. But I also want to make it easier for you and the staff too, because if it's an issue or concern, question about things that are going on in the borough or council, I'd like to be available for that. So that's really all I had. So with that, no discussion items. So I'll move to other business. Mr. Feiner, you have a resolution you'd like to present?
Yeah, this one somehow landed in my lap. I'm by no means an expert in the sewer system, and I've interacted with various situations that has happened over the years just being here on council. So I just preempt that by saying that, but I will go ahead and introduce resolution number. I will move actually to approve resolution number 26-02, Act 537 for the sewer plant. And I'll start with that, making that motion.
Okay. Are you going to provide any details, or we'll cover that in questions?
Yeah, I think, let's do it separately.
Okay, so
yeah.
I accept your motion. Anyone want to second that?
Second.
Okay, thank you very much. So we have a second from Councilwoman Hallett. Any discussion from the table?
From the reports on the current wastewater treatment plant, where it's not effectively treating for ammonia and phosphorus, and then this effluent gets dumped into the Delaware River, I absolutely agree that this is necessary, that we need to upgrade the plant. However, it is a little bit uncomfortable because the cost estimate is $56 million to, I believe, $160 million was the range, which is huge, 165 million. And we already pay more into wastewater treatment than we use. So I am kind of operating on the assumption that like we need to agree to this in order for them to move forward, but we aren't able to have specifics on the cost right now. And I just wonder if Andrew or you could kind of confirm like, yes, we need to approve this so they can move forward, but we're not locking ourselves into like a terrible financial.
I'm going to ask the
Yeah,
citizens to
yeah.
respond first, and then
Oh.
I'll get to you. Yeah.
Well, let me just say one more thing, because it's just to connect to what Martha's saying, if that's okay with you, and then Andrew could, because I think,
Okay.
because Martha and I spoke about this beforehand, because of kind of in the situation where this needs to happen, because we need to get into the right level of compliance, and also we need the capacity to be where it needs to be. It's like we don't really have a choice in the matter. So it's the best way forward, I think, is to go forward with it. It may not be the most ideal, but it's what we have. So with that said, and I'm comfortable with that, from what I learned about it. With that said, and now I'll hand it over to Andrew to explain more.
Thank you, Ms. Solicitor.
Yeah, so essentially the borough is subject to an intermunicipal agreement that dates back to 1977. That was then amended in 1991. That agreement provides essentially that your share of capital expenditures is tied to your allocation of the water. I believe your current allocation, if, for example, MMA were to renovate the existing plant, right now would be at 12.7%. With this new plant, essentially it's going to be roughly 11 to 12, depending on the additional parties that are going to come in and also utilize the plant. But as part of the Act 537 plan, there's a number of alternatives that are listed. And I know there's been additional analysis by Lower Makefield and some other municipalities. It looks like essentially all other options are just as costly. And essentially the borough has tied itself by sending its wastewater in that direction into that plant, using that plant to deal with its capacity. So unless the borough was interested in trying to explore some kind of other option, I mean, it's hard for me to even imagine what that would be. Construct its own plant, operate its own plant. I mean, these things really just aren't feasible. This kind of is the situation that you're in at this point. I will note, I mean, this is something that's been floating around since like 2015. I can see there was a lot of meetings. There was a big push at that time to do it. It looked like the municipalities decided to hold off at that time, and it's just gotten worse. I know there was a violation issued with regard to some of the discharge, the management and operation of the plant, and it sounds like the majority of that is related to the age of the plant that's been around, I think, since the 60s. It's been upgraded and expanded at different points in time, but really, at this point, it's just not capable of being renovated or operated in a way that can deal with future capacity, current regulations, or really what's expected in regulations coming down the road.
But, so, the 12% that we're currently at is much less that is utilized. So I guess I want to make sure that agreeing to this motion wouldn't lock us into 12% of the capital costs if we were to later negotiate a lower rate based on our usage.
Yeah, so it's anticipated, so this plan that you're approving right now is just an amendment to the plan with the state, saying that this is basically how we're going to deal with our wastewater capacity. It doesn't affect the actual municipal agreement that's in place. And with these other parties that are coming in, it is anticipated that there's going to be a new agreement that's going to have to be negotiated and executed.
Okay.
But right now, you are locked in that is your allocation for capital improvements. But certainly, if you're able to negotiate something lower, we could change it.
Okay.
That's the 11.25% that you're referring to.
Yeah, so I guess the existing plant right now is at like 7.1 is the capacity. The new one will be 8. But with the addition of some other parties that will be utilizing some of that capacity, your percentage actually drops slightly.
It drops slightly. And I think the thing that is helpful that I grasped from my conversation with you, that I thought about it, is that we're not as helpless as it seems, because we're only, let's say 11.25%, but everybody in that group wants the rates to be as low as possible. So we're actually all on the same side.
Yeah, I mean, look,
so
I
it's
don't
not
think
like it's gonna
anybody's
be runaway
happy about
crazy.
it.
Yeah.
It's just, they explored the options over the course of a number of years. It looks like this is sort of the solution that exists. Like, I know MMA is not willing to construct a new building at the same site. They want to utilize this other site in the Keystone Trade Center. I think part of their hesitancy in doing that, is the fact that you have to deal with the wastewater while the new one's under construction, and it just kind of becomes an impractical, it's almost impossible, essentially. I know at one point in time, there was discussions about bringing an expert in to try and sort of renovate or fix the existing plant. It sounds like there's like one person in the country that knows how to do it, and it just kind of fell through. It wasn't practical.
Any other discussion from the table regarding that? Any discussion from the public? Not hearing any. We have a motion on the table regarding resolution number 26-02, Act 537, sewer plant. All those in favor?
Well, we lost one council member. Should we wait?
Oh, I'm sorry, who?
Michelle.
Oh, good night. Oh, she didn't ask permission? Just kidding. All right, well, I did ask the public, but I can open it back up to the public if you have any questions. Come on, Julie. Well, I don't,
Awkward to wait for her while she's in the bathroom. I think you can go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine.
If I were her, I would not want you all to wait for me while I go to the bathroom.
she wouldn't want us discussing this either,
procedure.
but here we are, that's where we are.
Please.
Say that one more time.
You can always just ask her when she comes back.
Okay, if that's all right. In that case, I will move forward with a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any nays, abstentions, potty breaks? Okay, so that means currently it passes 5.
It passes 5-0. I mean,
5-0.
you can certainly ask her when she returns how she would have voted, but you're fine either way.
Okay.
How do you count that? As an abstention or just as nothing?
She's absent because she's left.
Absent.
Okay, on that note,
Okay.
would it be okay then to move forward with the item B?
Never had.
All right.
Never had 5 terms on council. Never.
All right then. Item B in other business is the discussion and vote of the members of the Police Planning Committee. I wasn't sure if this was going to be the solicitor or another individual who was going to take this.
I mean, I can certainly cover it.
Would you mind?
Yeah, I know at the last public meeting, there was discussion about Mr. Finer staying on to the Police Transition Committee, and whether or not that was something that was advisable. There's really no legal reason not to allow it, and I think from a practical standpoint, because he's been on the committee, it makes sense, but because council did sort of public interviews and a long process to decide who those members were, it was my advice at that time that we just have a public vote. And as Caroline pointed out back then, it just had to be added to the agenda, so it's before you this evening.
Okay, so does anyone want to make a motion to that effect?
The motion being to accept the current members of the Police Planning Committee, or,
Correct.
The makeup of that committee, yes.
okay, yes, I make a motion to approve the current membership of the Police Planning Committee.
And is there a second?
Second.
Who said that? Jason? Good. Thank you, Councilman Howard, and seconded by Councilman Goldstein. Is there any discussion then?
Just to further clarify to Councilwoman Howlett's point. So we had voted on the membership from council being related to the titles, and that when the mayor and potentially the president and the vice president changed over at the beginning of this year, those positions would change over as well. However, we have someone who is leaving council but has a desire to continue to serve the committee until it has concluded its business. And to Mr. Griffin's point, it's just in terms of keeping as many people on the committee as possible so that we don't have to kind of start over again with a new member is, it would be a nice thing if we could keep it. So it is to keep the same membership with the exception of, we've welcomed 2 new members with a new president and vice president. So Ori would be the exception since he's rolling off.
And I think the whole
council.
reason we were doing this was because it gives the optics of having a quorum. Because there are 4 people from council, right?
Yeah, and I discussed that briefly. It is certainly permissible to allow that to occur. I mean, typically it is something that you might want to avoid, but as long as the meeting is advertised, it's open to the public, there's an agenda that's in place, it is permissible, and really those votes would just carry over as the recommendation of the committee.
Okay.
And there is only one more meeting until
Yeah.
the end of Councilperson Finer's term, so.
Before, you said?
Only one more police meeting, because the one in March will be after the 15th.
Oh, okay.
The February
But
meeting
he's
is
going
my
to
last.
continue on after that,
Right,
but
right,
the
right.
quorum issue only exists for
Right.
one more meeting, yeah.
Okay, I got you.
Yep.
I appreciate that. Okay, so where am I? Oh, any other discussion? Discussion from the public on that issue? Not hearing any. I will ask all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
Yes, you must. Well, at least I think you should. And then any nays and abstentions, we have 1. So that means it's, what's that, 510?
501.
501? Okay, thank you, sir. My math's a little rough. I don't know if I need to mention this, but I will just to be thorough. While you were away, we had a vote without you, and that was for the resolution on the sewer plant, and it passed. Did you need to say anything to further that, or?
I mean, she was here when we discussed it. It's certainly up to you if you want to vote. It's
It
already
was
passed.
just as probably as I was walking out the door.
Yeah.
Oh, did you yell something like yay?
No, I didn't.
Oh, well.
That would be a little tacky.
Okay, so we're okay, then we'll move forward. Okay, so the last item on other business is the consideration to accept Ori Finer's resignation from Borough Council. Of course, it's with great sadness, but I understand that Mr. Finer has opportunities that will, not conflict with borough business, but conflict on his schedule and family life and so forth. I hope I'm fairly accurate without giving away too much. And I've enjoyed, working alongside you all this time. It's, in fact, I was the one that bade you to run, I think, at one point. Because I see, your skill set is fits well with the things that we do, and certainly welcome your opinions moving forward as a private citizen. Is there anyone that would make a motion to accept Mr. Finer's resignation from Borough Council? You don't have to. No, I'm just kidding.
And I would just be clear, he did provide his written letter of resignation. That letter was dated January 30th, 2026. The effective date of that resignation, however, is March 14th, 2026.
At 11:59, I heard.
At 11:59 p.m.
Yep, let's be, I'm just messing with you. So was there someone that would like to make that motion? Wow.
I'll make the motion, sadly.
Oh, jeez. Go ahead. Oh, so moved, okay. And a second, anyone else dare to?
Second.
All right, so you know who, okay, never mind, I'm just joking. Thank you, Mr. Menzel, for the motion. Thank you, Councilwoman Howard, for the second. I dare say, all those in favor?
With discussion.
Oh, yeah, why not? Sorry, My apologies.
I just have something else. Yeah.
Oh, I would just like to invite the public on March 3rd, so Councilperson Finer's last meeting with us for a loving send-off. If anybody would like to come and say some words, we would welcome you.
Thank you.
That means you have to attend.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
I thought I just get to leave now,
No,
and that's.
No.
I just wanted to just say how much I'm honored to have being able to do this all these years, and it's kind of interesting because I started out on council. I was at this seat, and this is the first time since my first term on council in 2014 that I'm back here. And also, it was the North Main Street sidewalk that was my impetus to running for office, and now we're about to finish North Main Street sidewalk. So it does seem like it's come full circle, and I really am flattered by all the people that reached out to me over the past few weeks, asking me to stay. I mean, thank you, and I really would if I could stay. Sure, yeah, I could just be here and zoom in or something, but to really do the work, it is a lot of work to do it the way that I see it, to execute my vision. It's a lot, and if my schedule allows for it in the future, I'd be more than happy. But I'm sorry, I can't stay.
Yeah.
And thank you.
And I do apologize. Was there any other discussion or accolades or negatives, if you wish?
Caroline, did you have?
She
Oh,
said
you
she's having a
already said it.
I'm so
party.
saving my remarks for the 3rd.
Yeah. Well, get them out while you can if you want.
I don't like long goodbyes.
Yeah. Okay, well, that said, here it comes. All those in favor? Public? Thank you. I don't know what to do without you. Any comments from the public? No? Okay. Well, then, with that said, once again, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
And abstain. So that's, again, 510, 01?
501.
501, thank you for setting me straight. That passes.
Okay, bye. No, just,
Yeah, I was going to say, let's move for adjournment if someone wants to make that motion.
I'll make the motion. Oh, second.
I have a motion and a second. Thank you, Councilwoman Sheriff. Thank you, Mr. Finer. And no comments from the table, no comments from the public. All those in favor?
Aye.
Woo! Meeting ended at 9:27 on the 3rd.